Section 1.3 Egyptian Numeration System. The Egyptian numeration system is a simple additive numeration system based on 7 symbols this time. The symbols are: we take the stroke, which represents 1 as a Hindu-Arabic numeral. We take the heel bone, which represents 10. We take the scroll, which represents 100. We have the lotus flower, represents 1,000. The pointed finger represents 10,000. The pollywog represents 100,000. And the astonished man represents 1,000,000. Using addition to evaluate an Egyptian numeral. Okay, if we look at number 1 here, we have 2 heel bones, so that's what? And then 2 strokes. So we have 10 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1, which would be equivalent to 22. If we look at number 2 here using addition, we have the scroll, which is 100, plus a heel bone, plus a heel bone, plus a heel bone, plus a stroke, which gives us 131 when we add it up. That's using addition to evaluate. Now, if I wanted to use place value to evaluate an Egyptian numeral, okay, if we would go back to the table, you would notice the values are 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, just like our place values. So, if we look at this symbol here, okay, 2 lotus flowers, we start with that, it's thousands, okay? So we're going to start at numeral in thousands. So if we look at this, 2 lotus flowers would put a 2 in the thousands place. And then there would be 1 scroll, 1 heel bone, and 2 strokes. So we put a 2 in the thousands, a 1 in the hundreds, a 1 in the tens, and a 2 in the ones. Okay, if we look at the next one here, largest place value is 100,000. So if I make spaces for 100,000. Now, what do I have? I have 1 100,000, I have 2 10,000s, 1,000, 0 hundreds, 3 tens, and 1 1. This is using place value, similar to what we have. Though we use columns, they use symbols. Now, let's look at some practice problems from page 6. Express each of the following Egyptian numerals as a Hindu-Arabic numeral equivalent. Okay, you may want to pause the video here a second, try to work these out, and then check yourself. All right, number 1, we have 100 plus 100 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. If we add all that together, we get 214. Number 2, there's 2,000 plus 100 plus 20 plus 2. Taking the symbol times its place value. So there were 2,000, so that gave you 2,000. 1 100, 100. 2 tens, which gave you 20. 2 ones, which gave you 2. Add it all up, 2,122. Number 3, now we look for the largest place value. The largest place value was 10,000s. And we look at the symbols. We have 1 10,000, 1 1,000, 2 hundreds, 2 tens, and 1 1. So it's 11,221. Again, looking at the largest place value, we have astonished man, which is millions. So in this case, you have 2 astonished man. So you have 2 millions. You have 1 pollywog, 1 100,000, 1 pointed finger, 1 10,000. 2 lotus flowers, so you have 2,000. No scrolls, so you have a 0 in the hundreds. You have 1 heel bone, so you have 1 in the tens. And you have 2 strokes, so a 2 in the ones. So they would be your answers. Different ways of coming up with the answers. Alright, now let's go the other way. Page 6 also of your book. Let's express each of the following Hindu-Arabic numerals as an Egyptian numeral equivalent. So take a moment, pause the video, try to represent these using the Egyptian numerals. All right, 22. That's going to be 10 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1. So that'd be 2 heel bones, 2 strokes. 213. This would be 200, which would be 2 scrolls, plus 10, which would be 1 heel bone, plus 3, which would be 3 strokes. If I take 2,234, this would be 2 lotus flowers for 2,000, 2 scrolls for 200, 3 heel bones for 30, and 4 strokes for 4. 1,100,002, This would be 1,100,000, 2,120. So be an astonished man, pollywog, 2 lotus flowers, 1 scroll, and 2 heel bones. Alright, now we're at the end of this section. You may pause the video and work the test your understanding problems on page 6. Once you work them, check your answers in Appendix A, and then continue on to section 1.4.